Within Dataverse, actually, you can store your data as a different columns or rows or records. So the data within Dataverse actually is stored within a set of records and call it as a tables. So a table actually is a set of records used to store data, similar how we table store data within database, similar idea that we have it on Excel. So Dataverse actually includes a base set of standard tables that support common business scenarios that connect to Dynamics 365 applications. And you can also create a custom entity specific to your organization and populate them with the data that you import from a list in a SharePoint, like from Excel, from Power Query. So for any app makers, they can use it to build their applications. So let's try now to see how we can build a table. So I will explain whatever we have to be as a live demo, and we will see how we can get an access. So let me open now. We need to start by opening the Power Apps portal. From there, we will follow an example that I have it from Microsoft Learn. So what I need to do now, I will do a different example here, starting by create a custom table. So how can I create a custom table? After I go to Power Apps, from there, you will be able to see here Dataverse. You just need to click on it. And once you click on it, there is something we call it here tables. So we need to click on tables, and from there, you will be able to see all the tables that already built in your environment. And how to create a new table within the Dataverse? There is an option here, we call it a new table. You just need to click on it. And once you click on it, you will be able to give a name for your table. Still, we are not creating any columns. We are creating the table, the main table for our Dataverse. For example, here, I'm going to call it Agent 008. And if you look at it here, the display name, it means what kind of name that I'm going to see it within the Dataverse table that I have it. And also, you can call it as a primary name column here. You can call it like Agent 008 and so on. Then you need to click on create. So once you click on create, you will be able to create your table. It's very easy step, but let me highlight something. After maybe sometimes when you click on add a table within your Dataverse, you will be able to get an error that to check your policy within your environment. So you need to be to make sure that all the setting within your environment are like you have an option to make your Dataverse or tables like enable to make it enable to make sure that you are able to build or create a table. I'm going to share with you the link that for the policy and the environment. So now if you look at the tables that we have it here, we already created our table agent 008. Now the question, how can I add and customize columns within my table? So what I will do, I will click on this table agent 008, and once I click on it, by default, you will be able to see different columns. If you are familiar with the SharePoint, you remember when we create a list within SharePoint site that there is a columns that already created by default, like created by, modified by, and so on. Similar way with the Dataverse, there is a column already created by default once you create your table. So all these stuff actually, it's a columns within your table. So now we have our table, and from here, we have a different tabs, like starting by columns. Within columns here, what if I want to add a specific columns? Like I would like to add a column with task as a drop-down menu. How can I do this? So as we know, Dataverse, we're gonna use it as our data source for our application. And this is the idea behind Dataverse, to use it as a main data source for our application. I will not use a SharePoint. I'm gonna use a data first on upcoming session. So from here, I would like to add a new column to my data verse, to my specific table, which is here, we call it agent 008. Click on columns, and from there, there is something we call it add a column. And once you click add a column, you will be able to give a name to your column. For example, here, I would like to add a task name column. And from there, you will be able to check what type of data or column that you want to have. Similar way of the SharePoint list. Like, for example, if you'd like to see like images, file, decimal number, choices. So it's up to you. So for example, here, I'm going to select this one, choices. And from there, you need to add your own, either you can select it from here or you can add your own, which is a new choice. Click on it. From here, I will be able to add, for example, task number 1. Add a new item if I would like to add more than one. Task number 2. Add a new item. Task number 3. Then what I need to do, actually, I just need to save it. And once I save it, the column that I created, it's supposed to be here. So for example, here we have the name done, and you need to click on done. After you click on save, you need to click on done. Here we go. This is our new column under agent 008 tables. And from there, we can see it like it's a choices from here. It's a custom, and you can delete it if you want. You can keep it if you want, and so on. Now we know how to create a table. From Dataverse, go to tables. And what if I want to add any column to any tables that I have it on my Dataverse? You need to go to the table, click on it, and from there you will be able to see all the setting for your specific table. For example, here from columns, I can add a new column. I can do some modification. I can, for example, this one we cannot delete it because it's a primary name column, the one that we created once we build our table. And from there, I can delete the other columns if I want. For the built-in columns that if we can see here, we cannot delete it because it's already built in the table. You cannot delete it at all. But you can customize the view for your table, and you can add whatever you want from your columns. So moving now to how I can add or how I can add a relationship. For example, here I have one column, I call it task. What if I have another column, or what if I want to build a relationship between like task or another column that I have it, or another column that I have it. So how can I do this? Once you open on your table, once you click on it, as we see, we can see here columns. We can see here also relationships. And once you click on it, you will be able to see the default relationship. Like we have created by, we have modified by, we have a different type of relationship, and what kind of related tables that we have it, and also what type of relationship, like many to many, one many to one, and one to many, and so on. But now, how can I add a relationship? So I know that I'm expert on understanding my columns, and I would like to build a relationship between different type of columns. So how can I do this? As I mentioned, you need to understand your tables. You need to understand your data. Otherwise, you will not be able to know how to create a relationship, even if it's a few click, but you need to understand when to use what. So if you look at here, add a relationship, from there, you will be able to see a different type of relationship, many to one to many to many. If you are not familiar with the relationships that we have it on Power Apps or on Power BI, I did a specific session about how we can build a relationship on Power BI. You can look at it, the same concept, to understand what difference between many to one or one to many or many to many relationship. You need to understand the difference. Otherwise, sometimes you will select the wrong one to between your tables, and sometimes you will get a wrong data. So just be careful with the relationship. Try to understand it before selecting anything. So Let me click on add relationship. I'm gonna select, for example, Manito one, just a random example to show you the concept. And from here, you are creating a relationship. If you look at here, the table here, you cannot to change it because you are within agent 008 table. Maybe in your scenario, you are using another table. So whatever you are building within the relationship between any tables that you have it in your Dataverse by default, the current here will be the table that you are in. Second one, here you are trying to build a relationship between agent 008 table and another table. Maybe you have another table. For example, here I built agent 008, which is I have all my employees' name. What if I have another column or another table, sorry, and I have their gen number or their alias with their locations. So how can I link between the key columns that I have it between two tables with different information? Similar concept of the Power BI relationship. So here you are dealing with the table. You need to select the table. For example, here I'm gonna select account, and you can click on the column display name, that what the column that you would like to do a lookup. For example, here, what if I have a column with the name account in both? So account is supposed to be in both table here and here because it's the key column. And from there, once I click done, I will be able to create the relationship. And it's supposed to be here, which is here, agent 008. And now we have a new relationship under, we call it account. So if I click on it, I will be able to change it later on and so on. So you need to understand your tables and you need to understand when to create a relationship and how the relationship is supposed to work. So this is very important for you if you are trying to use a Dataverse within your application, just to try to understand the tables and how to build a relationship. Cool. Now, if I want to delete, I can delete it. If I want to go to the account, I can go, for example, if I click go to account, let's see what will happen. Okay, so let me you need to save whatever you have here. So let me save it, then we can try it out. So in upcoming sessions, we will not use, we will have actually on the next month, my plan is to do a lot of sessions related to Power Apps and how we can build all our applications by using a Dataverse as a data source. Because previously, actually, all my application based on the SharePoint list. So I will try to use another type of data source. Okay. Now let's try to go to account and see what will happen. So when you click on go to account, you will go to the second table of the relationship that you have it. And from there, you will be able to see the columns of this account. So it's the easiest way to go to the previous one and so on. So for example, here, I have a different columns within my account and so on. Cool. So it doesn't mean that within your tables that you, every time you need to build a relationship with the account. No, actually, you can build a relationship. You can add whatever you want. For example, I can add table number one, table number two, but there is a relationship between them, and there is a different data sources between, but there is a key column like an ID. So whatever I have on table number one, I'm gonna read it from table number two because it's one ID. Anyway, let me now go back to agent 008 table and see now. We learned how we create a table. We learned how we can add a columns to our table. Also, we learned how we can add a relationship in easiest way. So now let us learn the new things, like how can I customize the view of my table, or how can I add a customize view. If you are familiar with the SharePoint, sometimes you can customize the view of your SharePoint list. Similar concept here. As we see here, once I click on my table, I will be able to see column, add a column. I will be able to see the relationships that I have it. And if I want to add, I can also, before we go to the customize the view of our table, let me give you a quick intro about business roles here. Actually, here what if I would like to add a specific conditions, like if my data is uh, like more than $5, for example, if I have a column about price item, and if it's like more than five, like make it red or something. So there is a condition. There is something I would like to add it to my data source. So how can I do this? This is the correct place. You need to go to here, business roles, and from there, add. And once you click add, you will be able to add it, and it's easy to use actually. I'm just gonna show you how to do it here. For example, here you are able to check condition. For example, from here you can put your rule first one, the source, the field that you have it, for example agent 008, if it's equal, not equal. So it's easy to use, and don't worry, on the upcoming session we will go in more details. We will build our application and data source for our application from scratch. So today we will just go and check from where we can do all this stuff, but on upcoming session we will do it together. So this is the right place to add a condition, to add a business rule, and so on. So here we have a condition if, then. There's a lot of things that we can do it here actually. Okay, cool. Don't worry about it now. Let us go back. And as I mentioned, if I would like to customize the view of my table, from here we have views, click on it. And once you click on it, you will be able to see that there is a different views that we have it, and this is the default one, and also the public view. We have different type of views that we have it. But how can I customize it, or how can I do it? For example, if I would like to add a new view from here, you need to click on add. And once you click add, you can name it, you can do whatever you want here. Or for example, here, if you want to custom the one that we have it, for example, let me try, for example, active this one, double click on it. And once you click on it, it will show you another page, which is the view designers, that you will be able to change the view or change the order of the columns and what kind of columns. So if you look at this one, we have two columns here. Actually, it means the columns that we have it created on. What if I want to view another column? Click on it, and from there, what if I want to see, for example, task? So here you are adding the column to your table. What kind of columns that you want to see? Similar way of the SharePoint list, that sometimes you don't want to see all the columns that you have it. Like I don't want it to see created by, modified by. I don't care actually. So it's up to you what do you want to see within your table. But it doesn't mean that we are deleting other columns. No, actually we are keeping other columns, but we are customize our view. For example, here, if I would like to see the owner, I would like to see like account, and for example, I don't want to see a filter, and from there, I will be able to see it here. And you can switch to classic. Let's try it out. Similar way to the SharePoints actually, like you can switch from to style. Okay. I'm not sure why I'm not able to switch here. Let's see. Oh, okay, it's working. So now we have the classic mode of designing. I don't like it actually, to be honest. I prefer the old one. It's much easier. So this is the classic one. So if you are comfortable with this one, you can use this one. But for me, actually, I prefer the new one because it's similar to the Power Apps style. So from here, after you modify your view here, actually you have like this column, and so on. Here we don't have a data because still we did not enter any data. Remember that we will use it on our application. So whenever we are adding from our application, it will be here and stored within the Dataverse. So once I save it and publish it, it means the view it's already done and ready to see. You can edit it later on, you can modify it later on. So it doesn't mean when I save it and publish it, it will be like this forever. No, actually you can come back and change whatever you want. So if I go back now, let me go back Just a minute. Sorry. If I go back, let me try to go back to my tables. Okay, here we go. Now I save it. Let me republish it again. Okay, it's done. Let me go back. Somehow I'm not sure why it's not going back. Anyways, I will go back to the Power Apps. Let's see. Okay, now if I go back to my tables from here, and where is my table? Here we go. The question, can I delete my table? Yes, we can from here. Delete table, you can edit. So if I would like to edit my table, I can click on edit and I will go to this page. Like I can add a columns, I can add a relationship, the views that I have it here, like this, the public one that we are working on it, and you can edit another one. We have a dashboards also and a chart. There's a lot of things that we have it here. So now, what if I would like to custom the form or the data that I have it here? Or, for example, here from form, if you want to add another form, you can click add and click on main form. And once you click on the form, actually, this is the page that you can add your, like, for example, if you would like to add anything from here, like a form field or something, I will be able to add it here. Like account, see, whatever I'm clicking here, it goes to this general form. And the form actually will help me to read the data. So, and once I'm done the same way, I just need to save it and publish, and that's it. Let me go back. So let us review very quick what we learned today. We learned how we can create tables within Dataverse. As we mentioned, Dataverse, we can use it to store our data. And from here, once you open your Power Apps, you can go to Dataverse. You can click on Tables. And once you click on Tables, you will be able to see here a button like a new table. And once you click on it, you just need to give a name to your table. And from there, after you save it, what you will be able to do, you can go to the table from here, your table that you created, it will be listed under table list. And from there, you just need to go and edit. What I can do to my table, I can add a columns, remove columns. By default, you have a custom columns that created by default within your table within Dataverse. You can manage your relationships, create a relationship between different tables within Dataverse. You can add a business rules to your Dataverse, like a conditions. Also, I can customize the views of my data, like when whatever the user they are entering from, for example, the app or another source, it will reflect back and you will be able to see the specific column that you are looking for. And also, if you want to see a forms, there's a form dashboard, a chart, all these like a dashboard and the charts and all these actually, we will see it and with the actual data once we build our application based on this one. So an upcoming session, which is we will have 4 sessions, like how we can build our application by using a Dataverse and how we can interact between both like Dataverse and Power Apps and how we can add our data, how we can store it. So you will be able to do a lot of things. What I will give you a homework today, go to the link that I shared on the Teams, and from there, let me open the link, just a minute. So I'm gonna show you something. So the link that I shared on Teams, actually, it's about Microsoft Learn, which is here. It's like we have more details about Dataverse. If you did not attend the last session, that about what's Dataverse, you can look at it here. You can go through the examples that we have it here. There is a lot of example. What I did actually today, it's already there with different names of tables, but similar concept. You can read more and more about it. Today, I'm not mentioning everything because while we are doing a live demo and upcoming session, we will learn it and it will be much easier for you. And you can go there, check the path for Dataverse, mark it as a done, and there is also how many things we have. Check your knowledge. You can take it, answer a few questions, and you can collect the points from there. So this is your homework for the next session, and thank you so much. If you have any question, just let me know. And make sure to wait and check on the Meetup on upcoming session. And hopefully by this Saturday, I'm gonna upload it on Meetup for all the upcoming session. So thank you so much, team, and have a nice day. Do you have any question?